All right, let's talk about Chronos New Dawn. This is one of the year's most hyped-up survival horror games, for sure. So the big question is, does it actually deliver? We're going to dive deep and see what this game is all about.
So, the survival horror space is, well, it's crowded. You've got some absolute giants in there. So, is Chronos really a new challenger? Can it actually make a name for itself?
Well, the short answer is yeah, it does. But here's the thing, it's not because it's doing something radically new. Its power, its whole vibe, comes from this really familiar, almost old-school soul. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel, It's all about perfecting a formula we already love.
Okay, first up, a son of Dead Space. And really, to get what Chronos is, you have to know where it comes from. I mean, you literally can't discuss this game without bringing up its biggest inspiration. It's a Dead Space kid, through and through.
And look, the connection here is it's undeniable. Chronos is a straight-up homage to Dead Space. You feel that DNA in everything, from the atmosphere, the gameplay beats, right down to its old-school progression. This game wears its inspiration like a badge of honor, and honestly, it works.
So, what does that mean for you? Well, let's be super clear. If you're going in expecting this to be the new king that dethrones Dead Space, it's not that. But if you love that style of game, oh man, Chronos is absolutely going to scratch that itch. It nails the formula, even if it doesn't, take it to some brand new, higher level.
Right, so if it's not aiming to be the new king, where does it really succeed? Let's talk about its major strengths, atmosphere and survival. This is where Chronos truly shines.
The developers are just masters of building atmosphere, and wow, does it show here. The story isn't just handed to you in cutscenes. Nope. It unfolds slowly through the creepy environments you explore, through the documents you find, and the effect it creates this powerful feeling of being completely alone, just totally abandoned and isolated.
And what about the gameplay itself? The rhythm? It's pure classic survival horror. It goes like this. You explore, you run into some kind of obstacle, maybe a locked door, whatever. Then you've got to go search for the key or the solution. And all along the way, you're just trying to survive the things that are hunting you. It's that simple, satisfying loop.
And that whole loop is cranked up to 11 because resources are so scarce. I mean, every single bullet, every single health pack, it matters a lot. The game makes you second-guess everything. You're constantly asking yourself, do I fight this thing or do I run? Because half the time, you just don't have the ammo to win that fight.
Which brings me to a super important tip. Like, if you take one thing away, let it be this. Upgrade your inventory as soon as you possibly can. I'm serious. Your starting space is tiny, and being able to carry one extra clip of ammo can literally be the difference between life and death. Don't sleep on it.
Okay, but the game's not perfect. It has one pretty big weakness, a real Achilles heel, and that's the combat. Now, let's be fair, the combat isn't, broken or anything. It works, but it's just missing something. It doesn't have that oomph, that satisfying punch you get from the best games in this genre. It's functional for sure, but it never really gets your adrenaline pumping.
Let's break it down a little. For starters, the weapon feedback is just kind of mediocre. Your shots just don't feel impactful. Then there's the melee combat, which is honestly, it's pretty terrible. Just avoid it. And to top it off, the way you have to manage space in a fight just doesn't feel great. It's often more awkward than tense.
And here's the real issue. This game is trying to hang with the absolute legends. We're talking Dead Space, Resident Evil, Silent Hill. When you put yourself in that company, people are going to compare you. And that's where the combat really shows its cracks. It just doesn't have that same magic.
But enough about the combat. Let's get back to what this game does incredibly well. Let's talk about the art direction and the sound. Because wow, this is where the game is an absolute masterpiece.
Artistically, this game is just on another planet. The detail they've packed into every single room, every hallway, it's just incredible. Every little thing, from a flickering light to a stained wall, feels like it has a story to tell. It really sells the idea that you're in a real, lived-in and died-in place.
And the sound? Oh, the sound design is just incredible. I'm telling you, this is not a suggestion, it's a requirement. You have to play this game with headphones. It's not just about getting more immersed. The sound is a fundamental part of the gameplay. All those little creaks, the whispers in the dark, it is an absolute work of art.
All right, so
We've got amazing atmosphere and sound, but kind of meh combat. Let's put it all together and figure out the final verdict.
So, the big question, who should play this? Look, if you are a hardcore, old-school survival horror fan, this game is a love letter written directly to you. You'll probably love it. But if you're new to the genre, the tough combat and the whole resource management thing might be a really rough entry point.
So let's wrap this up. Bottom line, Chronos is a solid, worthy game. It's not a masterpiece that's going to change the world, but it's a fantastic homage that genre fans will eat up. And hey, it's way, way better than some other recent attempts to recapture that magic, like the Callisto Protocol.
Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. Is Chronos a solid tribute that does exactly what it set out to do? Or is it a bit of a missed opportunity to really innovate and push things forward? I think that's a question that's really up for debate.